Hi everyone, welcome back to our video series. In today's video, I'm going to be going over historical linguistics, which is something that we covered in our February meeting, which was actually today. So, welcome back to the linguistics group. What we first did in our meeting was we went through some introductions like we do every meeting, and then we jumped right into the topic. So, historical linguistics. What is it? It's a branch of linguistics that studies the phonological, grammatical, and semantic changes in a language. What are those changes? So, a grammatical changes is changes in grammar. Google is a noun, but it's often used as a verb in today's world. When I say, I Googled it, or would you be able to Google that? That's using it as a verb. And soon it could be used only as a verb and not as a noun. And that's how these grammatical changes kind of start. And it's something that I thought was really cool because it's a grammatical change that we see happening in our language today. And the second one is phonological changes, which are changes in the way that a language sounds. So there's something known as the Great Vowel Shift, which happened in the English language from around 1400s to 1700s. And it was basically just a series of changes in the pronunciation of English vowels. I found this article from Harvard on the Great Vowel Shift, which goes a little bit into more detail on what the shift was and also what exactly the vowel changes were, which I thought was really fascinating to see how people started changing the pronunciation of their vowels. So this article is super interesting if you guys are interested, and it's linked in the slides. There's also semantic changes, which are changes in the meaning of words. So in Old English, the word land had two definitions. The first definition was solid of an earth's surface, and then the second definition was the territory of a nation. And in modern English, the word country has adopted the second definition of the word land, and the definition of the word country also means the territory of a nation. So over time, the two words have sort of changed their meanings, and the meaning of them has kind of transformed. Historical linguistics is a pretty broad field and it includes a lot of different things. So at its core, it's basically a study that revolves around the history of language and studying language change. So historical linguists will develop theories on how and why these languages change, and that can sort of touch into other branches of linguistics like sociolinguistics or psycholinguistics, which is like analyzing that these languages have changed. That's historical linguistics. But looking at why these languages have changed kind of goes into social linguistics. Maybe there's something that happened in society that made people want to start pronouncing vowels differently for the Great Vowel Shift. So kind of blending different branches can lead to really cool results. And historical linguistics also includes reconstructing the prehistory of languages. So by reconstructing the prehistory of languages, you can determine the relatedness of two different languages. And by determining the relatedness of how these languages are similar and different, you can actually group them into language families. And the part of historical linguistics that actually groups things into language families, sorry, is known as comparative linguistics. So in the corner here, I have a really simplified version of the language family that English is actually a part of, but it's so simplified that English isn't even in this picture. Yeah, and then the same language family, so this is the Indo-European language family. The same language family is this. This is the same Indo-European language family, but you can see that there's a lot more languages. I mean, this one stretches from like Norwegian and Swedish to Bengali and Marathi. And in my head, at least, I don't really consider Bengali and Norwegian to have many similarities. But from this language family, you can actually see that they are related and they do have similarities because they come from the Proto-Indo-European language family. And you might be wondering, what does this word proto mean? It's here, Proto-Indo-European, and also in this image, Proto-Germanic. So a fun fact is that Proto is not a real language that people have found, but it's actually a constructed one. So it's a language that historical linguists will analyze its descendants and their similarities, and then they can reconstruct the proto-language. which is why they use this word to indicate that it was like a reconstructed one. And I got this image from this lecture on historical linguistics, and this lecture was really good. It's only about 12 minutes long, and it goes over a lot of the things that we're going over in this video, but also some more things, so I would definitely check it out. Coming back to the slides. Okay. And lastly, something I also got from that video was, this is just a little fun fact I found really interesting about historical linguistics, is that it has its roots in etymological speculations. So the word goodbye actually was like God be why. I can't really pronounce this well, but it's God be with ye. So God be with you. I mean, good be with you. So I found it was kind of cool that words have these origins that we would never hear about, maybe even like Greek and Latin origins from the Renaissance, like theological origins that we would never hear about. And I just thought it was a fun fact. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. And these slides are going to be posted as well on tinyurl.com/linguistics group. So you can access all of the links and the video and the Great Fellowship article through there. And lastly, before we leave, one thing we went over was this book. So this book is titled Fourth Edition, Historical Linguistics, An Introduction by Lyle Campbell. And I think it's a really cool book because it's not just explaining what historical linguistics is, but it also gives you practical exercises. This is just a synopsis that I copied here, but it says it gives you practical exercises and examples that show you how to like apply the procedures of historical linguistics and what historical linguistics do. So if this field seems interesting and something you would maybe even want to go into in your future, I would definitely check out this book. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video, and please let me know if you have any questions in the comments or in the contact information form, which is also found at the tiny URL. Bye!